When I was in Terminal Island, California, it's in San Pedro. I did a lot of my federal time there back in the 80s. And, every once in a while, there's some guards there that you get a little bit more friendly with. My attitude in there, I was never really arrogant to the guards. They got their job to do. Some of them are really nice and they treat you like men. Others, they got a little bit of an issue with you and they treat you a little bit differently. A lot of them are brainwashed. They're told that, inmates are all bad people. So you got different kind of guards in there. Correctional officers, they're called. There's one, and I got along with many of them, but there was one in particular, and I liked him a lot. So I used to watch him, and I used to see that sometimes he got a little bit too friendly with some of the inmates, and I knew that maybe they were using him, maybe bringing some contraband in. And I used to tell him, look, I don't want, just be careful with who you deal with here. You're a nice guy. You don't want to lose your job. Be careful how you do things. So we had that kind of a relationship, Well, one day he comes to me. He was the CO in charge of the commissary. The commissary is where the inmates go to buy, foods and stuff and sometimes sneakers and things that they need, toiletries, all of that kind of stuff, right? So he comes to me and he says, Mike, I got to talk to you. And I said, what's up? He said, I'm in trouble. I said, what happened? He said, my accounting is all off at the commissary. The books are off. He said, and I got to turn it in. They're going to find out, the warden, whoever was the supervisor at that time. He says, I'm going to be in trouble. And he said, I'm probably going to lose my job. Hopefully it's nothing worse, but I may lose my job. He said, well, I don't want you to lose your job. You're a good guy. You're one of the few real good ones in here. I don't want you to lose your job. Here's what I want you to do. When you lock up at night, leave the door open. Make it look like it's closed, but leave the door open. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a couple of inmates that I know, and they're going to make like they jimmied the lock or they busted the lock open, and they opened the commissary, and they went in there, and they're going to steal it blind. They're going to rob everything in there. Rob everything. And when that happens, when you come in the next day, hey, what happened? They broke the door down. The accounting has to be off now because the inventory is off. They're going to blame the inmates. They're going to lock us down for a couple of days. That's why I want you to do it on a Monday and Tuesday. We have no visits. I don't want to lose my visit. I says, and then everything's going to be okay. He said, yeah, Mike, you think you can pull that off? I said, no problem. I said, leave it to me. It's done. I said, just make sure that there's no other COs around. I'm going to send them in. You tell me what time to send them. I'll send them in. Before count that night, we'll clean it out. No problem. Great. So I get a hold of these two guys that I know I could trust. I tell them what's going on. They're all excited about it. They said, Mike, you sure we're not going to get in trouble? I said, I think I got this all covered. I said, hey, you want to take the shot? I can't guarantee anything, but it's up to you. I said, if you go in there, you got your run of the place, do whatever you want. They said, okay, we agree. Boom, that's what happens. Sunday night, he walks out. Guys go there. Boom, I don't know what they did, whether they hammered it, whatever they did. They jimmied the door open. They cleaned it out. Cleaned it out. Everything you could imagine they pulled out. Enough to cover the guy on whatever his accounting and inventory problem was. Saved his job. They came in, the cops didn't believe me. Then Monday and Tuesday, they locked us all down. They shook everybody's cell down. They're going to do this and that and that. I don't even think anybody got in trouble for it. I said, that's how good it was, because they didn't have cameras over there at that time. Anyway, so that was one thing, gave that guy a reprieve. But here's what happened to him later on. I warned him, but he didn't listen, because you gotta watch some of the inmates in there. He got caught bringing contraband into the prison, and some of the inmates gave him up. And he ended up getting, not only did he get fired, he got indicted. I believe he got 3 years in prison. Poor guy, just trying to do a couple of, who knows what they were paying him. But you can't trust all the inmates in there.